Hey, welcome to Maturation 101 with your host, Dr. Chris. Hey, I'm Dr. Chris Heidelberg, and today lately we've been talking about the NFL, and that's going to be an ongoing thing that you're hearing certain themes. If you've been watching this program long enough now, you're starting to hear certain things. Time, energy, and resources tear. Time, energy, and resources, it's everything to do with maturation, because where you're spending your time, your energy, and resources tells you whether you're moving ahead and becoming more mature, or you stand in the same old cycle with them people who are around your age who ain't doing something. Even if they're doing something, they haven't seen enough sunsets to know that, which is why you're seeing a mentality now where you're seeing younger people being with older people because they're getting that wisdom. And some of y'all need that. Guys, I'm hard on, I'm tough on the guys, but I'm sympathetic to the guys. I'm hard on them because some of the stuff that you just do is just, we do is just straight knuckleheaded stuff, and it's inexcusable. And, I heard a story the other day. A girl was telling me about a cat who only wanted to give his baby mama money. He only wanted to give gifts, didn't want to give money. He'd get all the Pampers in the world, all this other stuff, but didn't want to give money. Well, why is that? Because invariably, he trusted her enough to lay down with her and go raw dog, but he didn't trust her enough to spend the money for his kid. You know how kind of effed up thinking that is? I be using some interesting language on here. You know why? Because I want younger folks to understand that, people who, I ain't old, I ain't young, I'm somewhere in between. We get it. So I got to talk to them in the vernacular sometimes they want to. Probably wouldn't do it on stage per se. But online, yeah, I'm going to go there. So, so Bishop, you're going to have to pray for me because I'm going to continue to use interesting language. I'm going to try to use more creative ways of doing it. But you got to talk to people where they are. See, that's why I'm not a minister. I guess I'm an online minister of philosophy and common sense and stuff like that. And then some of my stuff may be whack to you, but I don't give a damn. You ain't on the air right now. I am. This is my format. You go get the PhD and then we can have the discussion about your theory and my theory. Until then, just listen for a second. Let me drop some knowledge on you. All right, let's get back to the NFL mentality. NFL mentality, as we said I think that was episode 7. What we're talking about is a mentality. It's a short-term disease. I call it disease because what it is you don't care about nobody but you. You make decisions. You don't care about the long and short-term consequences of that decision to hurt a bunch of people because you want to do what you want to do all in the name of just getting paid or getting laid. It's all about you. And too many of us, it's not about getting paid. It's only about getting laid. And then we end up getting laid with the wrong people because we're extra, because we got what we wanted and we get extra results. Extra people we don't want, extra money we got to spend, extra time we got to do, extra resources we got to put out because we want to do what we want to do instead of focusing on the need. And if you focus on need, what you'll find out is when you can align your goals and things with other people that have this, who have a need that corresponds with you, you can get richer. That's how people get rich. You find that you have a need to have money take care of your family, and you come up with something that a lot of other people need, and they get it, and you get paid. You meet the needs of others. It's a win-win. You will always get it. But if it's about you being a Gator, you know what a Gator is? A Gator is a person who you give something to, and they take. But the more important is the Gator is different from a taker. The Gator, these are sophisticated urchins, I call them, because what a Gator does is a Gator. They reel you in by giving you a little bit, but taking far in advance. And then after a while, they don't give nothing. They figure they've given enough. They've given enough of the office, and we won't be supporting you anymore with this. They do. Excuse me, Dr. Chris. We've given enough of the office, and now I'm not interested. No, you're not interested because you've gotten in what you want, and now, my friend, you think that I'm head over heels, and I will never do this, and I don't have to do this anymore. But I'll sponge off of you and do what I want. No, homeboy, no homegirl, don't work like that. That, as my adopted big sister Kathleen would tell you, Dr. Kathleen would say, that's not how any of this works, Christopher. That is not how any of this works. I love how you say that, but it's not how any of this works. In the real world, as Dr. Kennedy used to always tell me, in the real world, where people do right by people, or they face consequences or karma. Consequences or karma. You know what? That's what we're going to talk about today. So I want you to make a list of all the people that said you did them wrong and be objective. If other people know about the situation, go ask them. Did you do this person wrong? Did you do right? And then find out, did you do wrong or did you do right? You can get it. Find out who you did wrong and who you did right. And that way you'll know. And you can be objective. If the person said you did them wrong and they got evidence to say you did them wrong, then you need to own it. Because if you don't own it, guess what? Somebody's going to own you. Because that's what usually happens. So either own it or someone else will own you when karma comes to hit you up. That's how this works. Own your transgressions, or they will own you in the form of other people in your future or your present. So let's repeat that one more time. You get it. Own your transgressions before they find you and someone else owns you. Because your transgressions will own you when you do people wrong. I say this all the time because the bottom line is that we got to teach people how to treat us. And if you're not treating people the way they should be treated, it's going to come back. And I'm going to be saying this the rest of the time because it needs to. We have so many selfish people. You look at Washington right now and all this stuff that's happening in Washington with these politicians and they doing all this stuff. Look, I don't know who's doing what. You need a scorecard. I used to work there. But the bottom line is that you can't keep shafting the American public and think you're going to get away with it. Sooner or later, you're going to be exposed. You can't be self-righteous either. And I ain't trying to be self-righteous. Look, I by far have not been a choir boy. God knows that. But I've been a good guy. I haven't been a choir boy, but I've been a good guy. And what I want to encourage all my guy friends to do here, look, what is it that you want? And stop telling women I just want to be friends and have benefits, because that don't work. You know they're going to catch feelings, and you a lot of times catch feelings, but you don't know you catching feelings later because you're young and dumb and full of cum. I said it. Young and dumb and full of cum. I heard that from Carol Morningstar. Used to work with me. She used to always say that. And I didn't understand fully what she meant until later. But now I get it. When you're young and dumb and full of cum, you will hit anything on thing that looks halfway decent. And ladies, you got to understand that. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Since we're talking about karma or consequences. Okay. I'm gonna do this little thing with ladies and men. Ladies, let's say you got 4 friends. You probably, out of the 4 friends you probably only got one real friend that's going to be down and can give you the time, energy, and resources you need when the chips get down. If they not, get rid of them. You got to cut it. Their friendship is way too high. You got to cut it. Here's why. If you take those 4 women, I guarantee, I've seen it all the time. One of them wants to be you. She's the hater. Hates you to that, and will do things like, maybe not mess with your man, but try to get you to be out because she, and stuff like that, because she don't want you happy. Then you got another one. She's manless, and she's manless because she got issues. She's got that NFL mentality, and dudes see it a mile away. We'll call them gold diggers, whatever else. And so because she's not happy in her man situation, she's going to try to mess you up. Then you got the third one who can't keep a good man because she makes bad decisions, like the NFL. She makes those bad official decisions, and she accepts the guys based on how they look, and she's all into the carnal and how these guys look, and so she gets screwed. And then you have the one. She's not an angel. Y'all might have y'all things, and she might be the friend. But and a lot of times now, because of the way things are, the 4 you with don't have the time, energy, and resources to help you get to the next thing. So they need to become put in the associate level, okay? You need to you want friends? You can have them once you get to where you are with people at your level. But right now, people at your level, they haven't experienced enough sunsets. Is the person that got me to do this thing. So they haven't experienced enough sunsets. And that's not a bad thing, to give you the wisdom. Knowledge is futile without wisdom. I would say now, a lot of the millennials are some of the smartest people I've ever met in the classroom and outside. But they lack the wisdom to get the proper, they've got the theory, but they don't have the applied theory yet because they haven't seen enough sunsets to properly exercise what they know in other situations because they're not familiar with the history. And as we know, the past is prologue, says Chaucer, and history repeats itself. That's another way of saying it. And if you don't know the history, and I'm not just saying reading in a book, but have experienced it and lived it, you won't know what to do in those things. And that's why the Marine Corps was so great, because I was 17 years old with dudes in their 30s, 40s, and 50s teaching me things, and I'm alive because of those men, because I was coachable, because I saw consequences. I saw consequences. I saw karma. The consequences were you didn't listen. You got hurt then. The karma came back because people got away with it for a minute, and they then start treating people bad, and then it came back to get them. So consequences, are you willing to accept the consequences or the karma? Let me tell you something. You want good consequences because you can't handle unintended consequences. You can't prepare for them. They're unintended. You don't know where they're coming from. And the unintended ones tend to be harsher. I'm just saying, folks, you cannot handle unintended consequences. So don't go and brag. I heard somebody telling me, I'm ready to accept. No, you're not. That's one of the most idiotic, sophomoric, stupid, immature things. That's why you need to be listening to Maturation 101. When you say idiotic, stupid things like that out of your mouth, we know you're not mature. You need to be in this class. So that's where we're going, folks. So guys, if you're going to work like that and not want to support the sisters, you getting what you put out. How you going to tell a woman that, for example, the example I gave you, how you going to tell a woman that you don't want to pay for shit? How you going to tell a woman that? How you going to tell a woman, real talk, how you going to tell a woman that? You cannot go and tell a woman that, I'll give you the gift, but I won't give you cash, and she got a baby. The example I heard the other day. That's one of the most idiotic things I ever heard. And by the way, this wasn't even a brother. So it's an international, interracial thing going on. And we've got to focus on that. 2, if you don't focus on getting good consequences, the karma will come back to get you. So watch yourself and what you're putting out there. A lot of these messages lately have been about 20 minutes. We're going to do shorter ones to give people breathing so you can see on Facebook. But I really want to dig into it. You can have time to think about it and listen to it over and over again. 20 minutes is about long enough I want to do because I want it like a real program. But I want to get deep into it, spend some time and think about it. So when you hear me lecture, you'll hear the points. So right now, we're going to start, once we get after 10, then we're going to focus on a schedule about how you get with your coaches and your support groups and how you're going to do the thing. But once again, I want to go back. This is the homework again, because some people ain't been doing their homework. I know. Get the coaches, get them together, look at the friends, do the thing. Guys, the same thing. You got one guy who's a hopeless player. He ain't never changing. You got another guy who's really, he can go either way. He really wants to do the right thing, but he's influenced by the crowd. Then you got the third guy who's just, we don't know what he's doing. He's a knucklehead. He just does knucklehead stuff. And then you got the guy who's really a good guy, and he really tries to do the right thing. So it's the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. But the problem is that if you're the quote-unquote age-appropriate thing, you haven't seen enough sunsets to have that now. So if you're a knucklehead on steroids. If you're the guy that can go either way because you double-minded, because you see the fruits out there and you want to go for it, you still thinking with the wrong head, you got a problem. And then the other person who's just the stone player, well, something catastrophic has to happen for him to change. And I saw that happen in my own life where someone lost. The funny thing is someone died. The girl fiance died, and then he got it. But even then, he was still doing some of the same. But he got it. Then he had to suffer a lot. And some people haven't had enough suffering. They haven't hit rock bottom, and they don't know that they don't know. And you got to let them do what they're going to do, period. All right, I spent enough time on the men and women. I spent enough time on the NFL mentality. The bottom line is, are you willing to accept the positive consequences or the karma? You don't want unintended. It's karma or it's consequences. And consequences fall in 3. The intended consequences that you know about, the good consequences that come from doing the right thing, or the unintended consequences, which are usually bad. Now, sometimes you get good unintended, but most unintended consequences aren't good. Now, I know people say, well, Viagra was an unintended consequence of a heart medication. Yeah, but there's another problem with Viagra. People still dropping dead of heart attacks and stuff. So that's usually, a bad unintended consequence. So usually, unintended consequences usually aren't a good thing. You want to have good consequences, the ones you know about. Okay? Focus on good consequences. How do we get good consequences? Living by the golden rule. Treating people the way we want to be treated. Treating people right so that you don't get the karma that comes with doing people wrong. And making that list about people that you think you've done wrong. And go to them and freaking apologize. Send them a letter. Send them an email. Send them a text. Send them and say, look, I know some things went wrong. Reach out to them. You know what I did one time? I went back to all my exes. Except the ex-wife. I ain't doing that thing. I did that in court. But reach out to them and tell them, hey, I'm sorry. My dad, after too many years, apologized to my mom about a year ago. And it was fascinating to me. So I said, if he can do this, and clearly he must have gotten some expert help. He won't admit to it, but he clearly got some expert consultation. He did it, and it was classic, and I was proud of him when he did that. And so what I'm saying, you can do the same thing, guys. It's never too late to make a positive impression, even though you may not get what you want. And focus on those friends thing. We're going to be talking about friends because people tend to, peer pressure works in adults. especially younger adults and older adults who are successful. We tend to be like pack mules and pack animals. Focus on it. So let's wrap this up. I'm gonna start having a thing where I get to, okay, we're gonna do the wrap up and we're gonna wrap it up. But for now, I want to expound upon some things so we can get deep into it, and then I'm gonna start doing a more structured thing. But I really want to have a free flowing thing where I get to be me and it's not overly structured. We can do this. You can click it anytime. Bottom line, NFL mentality, it's a non-starter. Number 2, examine the company that you keep, because they're the ones who are occupying your time, energy, and resources. They're not putting money in your pocket. And when I mean money in your pocket, if you're spending time with them and you're not spending time, the time you're spending with them should be spent on your dreams, because they're not putting money in your pocket. They're not paying your bills ethically. If they're not paying your bills ethically, then you got a problem. And also, ladies and gentlemen, don't bill people. If folks are helping you, you know you got to reciprocate. So don't move in with folks. Don't cut deals with people and then say, well, I'm uncomfortable. No, you weren't uncomfortable accepting the reward. So now you got to do what you got to do. That's why they tell you don't do that. You do that, there's an unwritten rule that you know what you got to do. Because if you're one of these knuckleheads out here, that's what you would do. So don't do that to a good person. Just don't do it if you're not going to do it. But if you do it, you got to accept the consequences or get the karma. And that's the bottom line. Remember, folks, accept the consequences or you will get the karma by not doing right by people who do right by you. That's just the way it is. And the rules apply to you, and you don't get a cut card on that. And so many people think they're special. They're not that special. You think you're cute now? Mirror, mirror on the wall. You won't always be the fairest of them all. And when you're treating people bad, even that beautiful face looks ugly, just like that queen. All right. And to wrap it up, no more NFL, folks. We already know how that ends. It's the NFL mentality. It's too much of it in the world now, and we need to stop doing it with men and women because it's not healthy. It's a pathological way of living, and we're passing it on our kids, and it's viral. So remember, it's not your environment, but it's you. The quality of your mind, the integrity of your soul, and the determination of your will. That is who you are. You are what you aspire to be and not what you are. So stop hanging around folks who are not edifying and building you up and using time, energy, resources, and get the coaches who've been where you've been to help you. And stop listening to those people because they're crippling you. They want you to be like them and not go to the next level, because if they did, they'd have their coaching and they do it. And y'all can come together after y'all are successful. But right now, you don't have time. You got to focus. If you want to be all about you, boo, let it be all about you and your coaching staff and the support group. You don't need no big team yet. You get a big team when you're successful because now you're employing these people. You're not there yet. So stop doing it, folks. I love you all. Have a good night.